I'm sure you all have heard of the show or seen the show Shark Tank. And about a year or two ago, I was actually on that show, and I got a deal with Barbara Corcoran. She gave me $25,000 for 25% of my company, and ever since then, business has been really great. So I'm just gonna get into it. And so, 1 second, I just have some quick notes written down. How I started my company was when I was about 10. My grandfather recently passed away, and everyone was so sad in our house. So my mom thought it would be a good idea to just get us a dog. So we got our rescue dog Barkley, who's a beagle, and me and my brothers would always fight about getting him treats whenever he did something good, because the treats were small and they smelled so bad, and we would always hate it because the smell always stayed on our fingers for the whole entire day, and we'd always fight about it. So I thought, instead of going out and buying new treats, I could actually maybe even start a company making all natural dog treats that actually smelled and tasted good. So that's pretty much how the business was born. And at first I was selling to all the neighbors and some friends and family, and their dogs seemed to love the treats. And there's been some dogs in our neighborhood that have never eaten a treat in their life, but their dogs go crazy for mine. So that made me feel pretty special. But then one of my friends thought it would be a good idea to go sell at the local dog adoption events. So I went to those, and they let us set up a little table about that big and sell the treats there. And every single time we have sold out and made a couple hundred. Before Shark Tank, we made about a couple $100, about 800, I think it was. And so when I got into the Shark Tank, they thought it would not really be that good of a company, since people have made millions in there and gone in there with hundreds of thousands of dollars. But I was only 10 or 11 at the time, I can't really remember. But so they thought I wouldn't get a deal, and they would kind of make fun of me, and they thought that's why I would make good TV, because they would pick me apart. But actually, it turned out that didn't happen. It was the opposite of that. So it kind of worked out good for me. And so, 1 second. Before Shark Tank, we had to go over everything, because we needed to do about 6 months to a year of paperwork and send in different videos on explaining our company, doing different presentations on how our company is, like how we built it up starting off, and doing like different stuff like that. So we had to go over all of our numbers, get all of our facts straight, remember how we started the company, and do different things. And then, I'm sorry, I'm just a little caught up on words. So, and then once they told us to watch the show when we went in there, so that because we have never seen the show before that, so they told us to watch it a couple times and see all the questions that they frequently ask people, so that if they did ask us those, we would know exactly what to say. So we kind of went over a lot of different those, and me and my mom practiced every single day before the bus, going over the pitch that you had to go in there. And before, I'm sorry, I keep on repeating a lot of things. So in the beginning of the process of going into Shark Tank, they told us to write a pitch so everyone has seen the show, right? So when you go in there, they make you stand there for 30 seconds without saying a word, and you're not allowed to talk to any of the sharks, you're not allowed to say anything. So it's pretty nerve-wracking. And then they let you write a pitch, and they make you practice it all the time. And you have to call the producers like every single week and go over it with them to make sure it's all right. So then when you go in there, you say it to them. That's why every single person has that same exact pitch. That's about the same time. So we had to write that and practice it every single day, because they told us if you mess up, you're not allowed to get a second chance, and no one has actually gotten a second chance in there. But it actually happened that when we went in there, the dog they film it in a big warehouse and just curtained off with like black curtains, and my dog went underneath one of them and ate someone's breakfast burrito. So we went in there, we were waiting there, and he threw up right on the carpet. and everyone started like yelling, and they were like, "Oh, did he eat the treats? Did he eat the treats?" And we didn't know what happened because we were in the middle of talking, and we looked down, and my mom just started crying, and I really didn't know what to do. But then Mark ran over to one of the producers, and he was like, "Let him get a second chance." So then we had to walk down again and do everything for a second time. We needed to figure out what we needed the money for and which shark was best for us. So before we went in there, we knew the exact amount we needed, which was $25,000. And we thought 25% would be a good number for us to give up, because that means they could have some control over the company, but not much. But they also could still give us a lot of money since it's such a big part of the company. So we needed the money for different brand new packaging and a website, and we needed to buy a lot of the ingredients for all the treats, and also shipping costs, because shipping was a huge problem for us because it costed so much. At one time it was actually costing more than the treats did themselves, so it got a little sorry, I can't think of the word. It got a little crazy sometimes, but now it's all figured out, and we recently had to change the company name to Rise Ruffery. If you noticed, when we went on Shark Tank, it was Ryan's Barkery, but we had some trademark issues. It's a really long story, so we had to change it to Rise Ruffery. But we had recently just gotten into Target, which we're out of. It was a promotional Shark Tank thing. Some of the Shark Tank products went in there, and they had all end caps in over 1,000 stores. So that was a huge deal for us, which opened up a lot of other big box stores to wanting us in there. We got into Wegmans. I think we're working on deals with Kohl's now. We just got into PetSmart, and I think Costco too. We're working on deals with all of those, and it's actually been really good since then. I'm sorry. Okay. And Barbara has helped us a lot since Shark Tank. I don't think we could have had the company if it wasn't for her. She has helped us completely remodel the company. Actually, before Shark Tank, we sold the treats in little like clear Ziploc bags with a little ribbon on the top, with just a piece of tape that we wrote with a Sharpie saying the name of the company and the telephone number. So if anyone wanted more, they could just order them from there. But I don't think anyone reordered from that because our company was so small. And my God. So Barbara has helped us remodel the company, and I don't think the company would be alive if it really wasn't for her, because there has been so many legal issues that we had to deal with, and her lawyers actually are really big and scary, so they helped us a lot. And have you all seen the update that she has where she brings her companies out to Fire Island? So we went to that. She brings her top best companies she has 2 houses in Fire Island that we all go there and we hang out together and we talk a lot of business. And we sat on the beach for about 10 hours just talking about different problems that we all have and different ways to fix them. And we're all trying to like help each other out with like different shipping costs and different like packaging that we could all work on. And it's actually been really cool working with all these different companies. And this year we went to Utah and we all went skiing. She has a house right on the mountains, and it was a lot of fun. She had a private chef come out and cook all 3 meals for us every single day. And it was a lot of fun talking to everyone and seeing all the different businesses everyone has. And we're trying to work out deals with one of her companies is called Pork Barrel Barbecue, and they have like barbecue, like they have different stores and different like products, like stuff like that. And we're trying to work out a barbecue flavored dog treat with meat in it, but we've never really had that opportunity because there's so many different licenses that you have to have and a lot of different insurances, because it's meat and it could go bad really quickly and dogs get really sick from it and actually die. So there's been a lot of problems with that, but we're trying to work out with, instead of meat, just like a barbecue flavor that doesn't have any meat in it. So we're trying to work with them with their products to kind of combine both of them together. And we're really good friends with, they're not one of Barbara's companies, but they're called Nuts and More. It's fortified peanut butters that have a lot of protein in them for bodybuilders, and they've helped us out a lot. They live in Providence, so we always drive up there. It takes a few hours, but it's always worth it seeing them, and we always have a really fun time together. We always talk about different shipping costs, and they've helped us a lot. I think our shipping went from about like $11 to down to like $5 or something like that. They've helped us a lot getting that down. And I'm part of this group called Independent Youth. I don't know if anyone has heard of it, but they have just partnered with Google and Facebook. So we travel around, it's a group of teen entrepreneurs that travel around the country doing speaking engagements. Like I think the last one I went to was in St. Louis, and there was over 1,300 people in the room, and it was pretty crazy. There was a lot of people, and it kind of got a little scary getting up in front of all of them and speaking. But in the end, it all comes out to a good cause, because I know that in the end, it'll open up a lot of doors for me. Like I've spoken at, I think, 10 or 15 different colleges, and I always stay in touch with the professors, because I know it'll all come back that they could always write a scholarship to the college for me, so it all works out good. I think we stayed with USPS, I think it is. But we changed the complete different, we went from a box, like a regional rate box, but now we could fit 3 bags in it, but now we use a padded envelope, which cut the cost, I think, in half it was. So before I started, I kind of researched it a little and looked up different recipes for everything. And then one of our friends is a veterinarian, so we went to him and he told us different things that dogs can eat and shouldn't eat, and different things that dogs love and are good for them. So that really gave us a base of different ingredients that we could use. And then we kind of just formulated it in the kitchen, just doing different recipes and seeing which ones worked, and then came out in a good cookie. So that's kind of how we did it. Yeah, we have a co-packer do it for us. At first we went from the kitchen, we were baking in our small kitchen with a bunch of teenagers just sitting there all day, all night, cranking treats out. And then we went from a local bakery. They had an extra table in the back, so we used them for a little. And then now we have a co-packer that bakes, packages, and ships the pallets out to big box stores or to our house, and we just keep them in the basement. We give back, I don't remember exactly how much percent of the company, but there's a company near us called Star Pet Relief, and they have this thing called a pet pantry, and they get donations of food and money, and they give that to people who can't afford it, so they won't have to give up their dogs or just leave them outside to die. So we donate back a lot of money to them. I think we just donated back a couple $1,000s to help them out. I thought about going into a toys, because I always see a lot of different toys that my dogs love, and I always thought about combining 2 of them. They have the little squeaky toys, but I thought about a toy that fits our treats in it, so the dogs have to they have that, it's called a Kong, I think it is, and they have this little peanut butter spray thing that you put in it, so it's hard for the dogs to just get to it, so they just sit there for hours just trying to lick it all out. So I thought about something like that. I haven't really thought about other animals, but we have had a lot of different animals eating our treats. I think we've had a couple cats eat them, a horse, and I think even a pig ate one of them before. Yeah, they're made with all natural human grade ingredients, so I mean they don't taste that good. They could use a little salt, but you could eat them yourself if you wanted to. When I first started the company, it got kind of hard managing school with the business and also traveling all around the country, so I actually moved schools to because the principal wanted me at this new school because they knew what I was going through, and they said they could help me out better with schoolwork, and they could get me like a tutor if I actually needed it. So they helped me a lot better. And I used to play hockey, a lot of hockey, but I had to quit that, and now I only play lacrosse. Yes, I really want to go to college, get a good education, so if this does go down the drain, I always have a second chance at anything else. I hope to study maybe like some entrepreneurship, like an entrepreneurial class, but I haven't really thought about that yet. Kind of focusing on what I have in front of me now. It's me, my mom, and we have like a lot of Barbara's. She has a small office in New York that we'll visit all the time, and they always help us out with things that we need, and we could always give them a call whenever we need it. But it's really just me and my mom just focusing on it now. Whenever we get a huge shipment of treats in, like we did yesterday, we got a couple 1,000 pounds of dog treats. We always have friends over and we pay them by the hour, bring them all down to the basement. And before we got into any big box stores, there's one store near us called Fairway, and they always came over, and we would go there, and they wouldn't carry the product, but they said you could come here and just advertise it and sell it like at a table, and they would always come help us sell. So they've been a big help. Yeah, once we first started the company, it used to be like a month or a month and a half, but now I think we just got it up to a year. I think we put an all-natural preservative that's not really technically a preservative because it's a vitamin, so it helps the dogs out too, and it got it up a while. So the co-packer, whenever we get like a big box store order, they always can just make it out in a day or a couple days, and because they're a factory the size of 2 football fields, so it's pretty big, and they only focus on all natural treats, and so they could crank out treats really fast for us. But we always have a few pallets in the house in case anyone like orders off a TV, but the co-packer ships them to the big box stores directly. We always use Facebook, and Barbara always helps us out trying to get us on TV as much as she can. So if you notice, she always has updates. That's why she does the thing at one of her houses every single year, because she always tries to push the names of the products out all the time. And there's been an episode or a couple episodes where there's been a kid on it, and she said, you know who you remind me of? Ryan Kelly, and she's actually gotten our name out, and it's gotten us a lot of orders too. Because when we first got into, we had a huge order of a couple 1,000 pounds for the American Kennel Club. They just started, have you ever heard of the Bark Box? It's like a subscription-based box where every single month they send in like the hottest treats, the hottest toys, and different foods so you could test them all out. They just started their own called the Reggie Box, and they send in like toys like dog bubbles that don't pop, so they could have to like jump up and eat them or whatever. So they have like different stuff like that, and at first we were baking out of our kitchen, so it took a while to get that out. And when we first went on Shark Tank, we were still in our kitchen, and we were out 2 months. People had to wait 2 months to get their treats. But then we moved to a bakery, and now we're in a co-packer that bakes them for us. People have contacted us trying to see if they could order from there, but we don't ship internationally. And one of my friends was going to Portugal for vacation, and someone ordered in there, but they couldn't get the treats, and they drove 5 hours just to get them from my friend. So they must have really wanted them. We had spoken with Blue Buffalo. They're an all-natural like dog food line, and one of my friends, his grandpa was an executive there. So they kind of said, oh, if you have any questions, just call us, good job, whatever, not thinking it was really that serious. And we called them a few weeks later saying, where do you guys do this? And we had to sign a bunch of papers and stuff. And then they told us that's where we do it, so then we went there. Because there's a lot of liability, and if something did happen, it could really bring us down a lot. So I think it's better to have it. Better be safe than sorry.
My name is Nick Rodriguez. I'm the president and CEO of Young Biz USA, and also alumni from class 2000. Seems so long ago. The school didn't look nothing like this when I was here, so we didn't even have classrooms like this, so this is awesome. What we do at Young Biz USA is we distribute financial literacy and entrepreneurship curriculum to public, private, and charter schools across the USA. And we also hold year-round programs, camps, and workshops. So when we see impressive people like Ryan, I was just sitting in my living room with my kids, and I saw him on TV, and I immediately got on the horn, trying to be the businessman that I am, said I got to talk to him because he exemplifies what we do as a company. I wanted to come up here real quick and just let you guys know he's being so modest. He's so impressive. About 2 years ago, I contacted his mom. We did a program with the Trump organization. And right away I said I want to see if I could bring him out and talk to the kids. He came out and he was fantastic. He blew the doors off there. He was just awesome. And I wanted to point out two things before I let you guys go. One, his mother, Daniela Kelly, is fantastic. She is his support. She's awesome. And I think parents don't get enough kudos when they have young entrepreneurs because it's so hard to deal with. They're trying to keep them on the straight and narrow. They're trying to help them get their dream going, and at the same time, they're remembering school. Because remember, I mean, if he doesn't go to school, she can get arrested, right? So, I mean, she got to keep all that up. So let's give Daniela Kelly right to her hand. She's fantastic.
And if you have any questions of Danielle?
Yes, absolutely. And another thing I want to point out that Ryan talked about so much is, and all you guys can take away from this is, the most important process he's going through right now is not making the money, not, all the notoriety and all that stuff. All that stuff is great, don't get me wrong. But the most important thing he has in his corner, one, of course, is his mom, and second, he has a mentor in Barbara Corcoran. He can go to her and ask her any question, okay? So everything you're trying to figure out, understand you're gonna mess up, you're gonna make mistakes, but when you got somebody to turn to say, hey, don't do that again, you gotta do it this way, that's invaluable in business. Invaluable. Remember I told you that today because it is the most important thing. So anything you're thinking on today, working on today, any idea you have, find a mentor in that area. Make friends with him. Do something for free for him or her or anything like that. I just made a call to Dr. Anderson a couple of weeks ago because I had a tech idea and I wanted to run it by him. So that goes to show you, always reach out to somebody that knows a little more than you and you'll be on your way. Then if you got anything for the class, go, up to you. I just wanted to know how great you are and the great work you do with them.
Thank you.
No problem.
I think the most important thing that we've learned through all of this, and Barbara does a fantastic job of getting her Shark Tank entrepreneurs together. We're constantly bouncing ideas off of each other. I'm in touch with one or more of them almost every single day because there's always a question, there's always a crisis. I feel like we're constantly putting out fires all over the place because there's no script to this. There's no how-to manual. I don't have a business degree. Clearly, he doesn't have one yet. We didn't really know anything about dog treats, so we're winging it every day, but we're constantly relying on other people who know different things than us, and surprisingly enough, they rely on us right back. So it's such a give and take, and it's so important to know that you're not alone doing this because there's going to be a new show coming on the 15th, which he's going to be a part of, which is airing right after Shark Tank. And I think if you get the chance to watch his clip on it, you'll see a better idea rather than the little Shark Tank, everyone's toasting with their champagne glasses and they're thrilled because they're making so much money. What they don't show is that I'm up at 4 o'clock every morning. They don't show that, there's pizza served in my house 3 nights a week because you never know when phone calls are coming in or meetings are, coming up at the last minute, and it's very by the seat of our pants, and you can plan all you want. It's a zigzag like this. The day never flows the way I expect it to. So it's constantly changing and evolving, and we have to go with the flow of it. And that's, I think people who learn business only from watching Shark Tank lose the part of it of how hard it is and how much work it is and how much sacrifice it is, because it's all of that. And I can't tell you enough how incredibly worth it all of it is. I was up till midnight last night making packaging for the American Kennel Club. We've got to pack our own treats because the bags are smaller and they don't fit on the machinery at the co-packer, so we have to do it ourselves. Not a problem, bring it. It's too prestigious of an account for us to ever want to lose. We love those guys. It's a great relationship for us, which has led to a lot of new things. But, you know, I was up at 4 this morning, and then when the kids were ready to get in the car, I realized they forgot to pack their lunches. So, you know, off to Dunkin' Donuts we went on the way to the bus stop, and it's a lot. It's a lot to remember, it's a lot to manage, but it's so fulfilling to do it for yourself and to learn something new every day, and it's really been a great experience. Well, 4 years ago I had a stroke, and I lost the use of my right hand, so I can't really write that well, I can't really type that well. I was a nursery school teacher, which is something that, you know, given my obstacles, was something that I could handle. Before, what they also don't show on Shark Tank is you leave there with a handshake, you don't leave there with a deal. There's a big process of due diligence after that. And before we actually signed the final papers with Barbara, I jumped and I quit my job, which I loved very much. Clearly it wasn't paying my mortgage, but I loved it. I loved those kids, I loved the people that I worked with. It was a great, positive, nurturing environment for everybody there. But sometimes you just have to jump, you know, and I did, and I don't regret it for a second. I really don't, because I never want to look back and think I wish I would have, or I wish I had done it differently. So we just, you know, go big or go home. That's how we spend every day, is going big or going home. And hopefully it'll be worth our while, but at least we'll know that we tried. Yes, she was. She was, actually Mark Cuban got a few emails, we understand, that were not so nice because the edit, we were in there over an hour, but the way they edited it down, I guess it appeared that he was considering making an offer. I don't know that that was true or not. However, he sees the value in a young entrepreneur because he was one himself. So there's been more than several occasions where he doesn't want a percentage, he doesn't want any money. He has thrown business his way. You know, this may not be the perfect space for any of my people, but I think Ryan would fit really well here. Let me make the introduction. So, you know, if you notice on the Target shelf, it was all Mark Cuban's entrepreneurs and Ryan. And I don't know how much he had to do with that and how much he didn't, but he's just been a real positive influence and a real gentleman, and somebody that, you know, whose office, we don't need to because we have Barbara, but always somebody we can go to with any question that might pertain to him more than Barbara. I don't know that we targeted her. I think before we went in there, we were kind of in agreement that, you know, based on our sales and based on our situation and his age, he had just turned 11 the week before we filmed. We decided that no matter what offer came up, we were taking it. So we were, you know, if there were multiple offers, we would have considered it based on that. But she made us a full price offer. It's the best check we write every month. I couldn't be more thrilled with her. She's very involved. She's very engaging. She's fantastic for him to learn from, because what she always, places a lot of importance on to me as a mom is, if he's going to fall on his face, the best thing you could do is get out of his way and let him, because that's how he's going to learn. She's very much about the learning process. And we never hear a thing from her about the bottom line. She never calls for numbers. She never asks really for anything. She's just there to support us and see us succeed, because our success is her success. And she made such a tight-knit community that we all feel that responsibility together. We're constantly cross-promoting each other. We're going to be working with Pork Barrel to maybe co-brand for a biscuit with their new line of barbecue rub. So we're constantly looking on how we can evolve as a company and we can make this product better and how we can all grow together. Because none of us can figure this out alone. There's no manual. If there was, we'd all be doing it, and we'd all be doing it well. But we're struggling every day to figure it out like everybody else. We're an LLC, which is working for us for now. We might evolve from that, but right now we're good. Because at the end of the day, you know, we're in these big box stores, but we're still a small company. It's really just me and Ryan day to day. If you saw us yesterday, you'd have laughed. I didn't get out of my pajamas all day. We were carrying pallets of treats up and down the stairs. I mean, this is hard. It's not, you know, people see us on Shark Tank and they think that's what we do all day, and it makes me laugh because it's not what we do, really, except for maybe 2 or 3 days a year, which is the best reward we could have. But it's not always easy, and it's not always pretty, but it's ours and we love it, so it's all good.
What mommy says goes.
Well, mommy says goes, yes. It's an interesting dynamic because, especially now that he's 13, it's changed a lot because he's the middle of 3 brothers, and he spends a lot of time with his 3 brothers. He also spends a lot of time with adults. So it's a different way to parent because he's part adult and part kid. It depends on what situation he's in. Like, I could never bring my 11-year-old in to do something like this because it's not him. It's not his interest. It's not his forte. It's not, he doesn't have the maturity level that Ryan has kind of grown into. But he's not treated always like an adult. He gets his phone taken away. He's expected to clean his room. Yeah. He's part kid, part adult, and it's there's no one to ask, so it's been hard to navigate all of this. But he and I get to spend a lot of quality time together when we're traveling and we're doing speaking engagements all over the place, and I think that's been really nice and has been able to tighten us up, especially in this 13-year-old stage that he's in. And I think if you choose to have a partner with your business, you got to make sure it's the right one, because you're together a lot and you're making huge decisions together, and it's choose wisely. We haven't gotten there yet. We haven't hit that point yet, but there's, you know, like, we're not shipping medicine. It's dog biscuits. How bad can this go, right? Dogs will eat anything. It's not like we're feeding, you know, some 5-star Michelin chef. We're feeding dogs, and we just want to make sure that the parent of the dog realizes how good these treats are. And I think as long as we keep, someone had said this to us, always keep your why in mind. Why did you start this? Why did you do it? Why is it important? And as long as, no matter how big or small the decision is, we always keep that in mind, it kind of guides us to the right place. So far, so good. Yes. A lot of animals obviously loved the treats, but at the end of the day, the dog's not making the purchase. The adult that is with the dog is making the purchase. And if you read the ingredient list, there's nothing you couldn't find in your own kitchen. So that was a big thing. Some dogs didn't take to it because they're used to treats that have so many byproducts, so much salt. I mean, pumpkin is never going to compete with bacon. But at the end of the day, it's up to the adult with the dog to make the decision as to what they want to feed that dog. And that's our demographic, is the person who's going to pick the all-natural, you know, low-fat, great treat as opposed to the bacon. Bacon's the easy go-to. You can answer that.
We have 3 flavors. We have cheddar cheese, pumpkin apple, and peanut butter, and I think peanut butter is the best seller.
Peanut butter's the best. How did we change it when we went to the co-packer?
Oh, with the grain.
Yeah.
When we first went to the co-packer, we changed it from, we were in grain free, and we had a lot of people like complaining to us, oh, our dog can't eat this now. Like we want a refund or something because their dog's like allergic to grain, and a lot of dogs are, so we changed it to grain free.
Instead of using whole wheat flour, we got a lot of feedback that a lot of dogs are allergic, which as a 10-year-old, we didn't know that when we were selling, at a dog adoption event on the little card table. It really didn't make too much of a difference. But now that the distribution is so wide, we listened to the feedback, we made everything grain-free, and the flour is now made from ground-up dehydrated peas.
Probably one of the best things I've learned is really like not to let anybody tell you can't do it, because I've had a lot of people telling me that it's never going to work out and you're never going to do anything, you're never going to make any money. And
Young.
yeah, so I was thinking in my head, I won't say it out loud, but just I wish they could look at me now and see what just happened, because I kind of proved them wrong. So I kind of just don't listen to people like that. So yeah, just don't really let anyone tell you can't do it.
I think the biggest thing that I learned is that I can't do it alone. We rely on people from Barbara's office for advice. We rely on my family. My mother lives with us to help get these kids to and from school. I mean, the logistics of this alone are unbelievable. I have friends that will cook a dinner or drive a kid or pick up from practice or get skates sharpened or help with homework, or it's a community effort sometimes to get this thing done. And I would never discount the importance of a strong support system, because it's not easy. I'm not sure that there's a serving suggestion on the back of the treats. However, you do have to establish, there are very strict legal guidelines from the we are not governed by the FDA, but we have to meet their guidelines. We are governed by the Department of Agriculture. And they have very strict guidelines as to, like, it has to say on the package, it's a treat. So before, the tagline was, I can't even remember what it was, but now it's a treat, not your dinner. Like, you have to say, this is not a meal substitute, it's a supplement. So they force you to allude to it somehow, and all of the labels have to be approved by the Department of Agriculture. Or, there's, in any business, there's always going to be some kind of governing body that's going to have to go through your stuff and make sure that you're legal to be up and running and doing it the way they want it, because otherwise they'll pull you right off that shelf and they will not think twice about it. Because before you sell a dog biscuit, you have to be legally prepared to deal with the repercussions of selling that dog biscuit. Some dog could be sick they could be born with the sickness, but if they show up on your doorstep and say your treat made the dog sick, what do? So the insurance is a necessity. Different stores require different amounts of insurance, which is why we just had to supplement with the umbrella insurance for an additional $3 million for PetSmart. So everyone has different requirements that need to be met. And then it's a juggling act. Is it worth it? Is it not? Is it worth the money? Am I going to get a return on this investment? It's this constant push and pull of what's worth it and what's not. But yeah, the accountant and the lawyer were probably the first two things we did. We LLC'd the company, made sure everything was legal, everything was buttoned up, then the stuff goes on the shelf. Yeah, well, there's a big lag time between when you film Shark Tank and when you air. So we filmed it in September. We didn't air until the end of May. In that time period, that's when we lawyered up, we legaled up, we got all our licenses, we made sure everything was up and running and ready to go the way it was supposed to be. So we had a little bit of time, to get the packaging straightened out and made sure everything was the way it was supposed to be. Since the day this kid could babble, he's been onto something. I mean, when you see an athlete and the mom says, I've always known this kid was going to be a basketball player or an entrepreneur, or he was, I knew from when this kid could talk, He has sold his Halloween candy on the bus. He has rented sneakers to his brother when he lost his, and I refused to pay for new ones. He would have lemonade stands. I mean, just crazy. They would steal tennis balls from the club up the street and drag them home in laundry baskets and then sell them to the people in the neighborhood that had tennis courts. Used tennis balls. He was getting them for free in the woods. They'd wash them off and sell them. I mean, he always was churning something in his head, always. So we knew pretty early that he was going to do something. We just didn't know what. We just needed to kind of let him do his thing, and somebody called Shark Tank. We didn't even apply to the show. Someone bought his treats and saw him selling there and called the show, and they came looking for him.
They're pretty big. One of them, his name is Jalen Bledsoe, and his company is Bledsoe Technologies, and he went viral when his company got valuated at $2.2 billion. And yes, he's I think 16 or 15, and he works with Jordan Sparks. He does all of her like websites and like marketing and different stuff like that, and he also works with Steve Harvey and a bunch of other celebrities. But there's been a couple of them that are trying out for Shark Tank now. There's been a lot on the Ellen show. There's been a couple that were on Shark Tank too, but everyone's pretty big in that group.
They have a lot of social entrepreneurs too.
Yeah.